Hey guys, welcome to Politically Provoked, an interactive podcast where we host debates, panels, and interviews. If this is your first time joining us, please like, share, subscribe, follow. We are primarily on YouTube, but you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Discord, and BitChute. All the information is in the banner below, or you can just search Politically Provoked and we should pop right up. Politically Provoked is a neutral ground where people from across the political spectrum can either duke it out in a debate or just have a casual discussion in one of our panels. Either way, we try to represent both left and right-wing views on every episode. I'm your left-wing host, Brittany, and this is your right-wing host, Todd. How are you, Todd?
Yo, doing good. How you doing, Britt?
I'm doing good. All right. Yeah. So we have another interview for you guys. The purpose of them is to give those who are interested in debating a chance to introduce themselves, let everyone know their positions on various issues and what they would be the most interested in debating. This is a helpful tool when matching people up to debate. So we will add these interviews to our libraries. We have 2 debaters libraries. They're all on YouTube, left-wing debaters library, a right-wing debaters library, and then we have a panelist library. So anybody that is in our debaters library is somebody that's interested in doing debates. So you guys can go scroll through them, see if anybody sparks your interest, and let us know, and we can set that up. And if you are interested in doing a debate and would like to set up an interview, you can email us at politicallyprovoked@gmail.com. All right, so we have an interview tonight with Pedro, so let's bring him on. Hello, Pedro.
How you doing tonight?
How are you? Yeah.
I'm good.
So, yeah, if you want to give a brief introduction, tell people a little bit about yourself, where you lie on the political spectrum, and maybe where people can find you.
Yeah, hi, guys. My name is Pedro. Once again, I'm from the Lyceum podcast. Really, I'm a regular guy just like you. The only probable difference out there is I'm a Christian. I believe, Jesus is Lord. I believe the author of the Bible has an interest in your life. What I'm interested in doing is mainly bringing a proper representation of the truth of the gospel and the power of Christ to you and anybody else who's willing to, listen and talk or maybe just debate it. And secondarily, I would like to talk about like Americanism and how that is a downstream thing that comes from the Bible, culminating from the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, and the Bill of Rights. If I had, sorry.
Sorry, go ahead. I'm really excited right now.
No, you're chill. Yeah. And just to be clear, I want to do everybody justice. All the gospel is pretty much, while it is complex, the simple thing is this: the author of the Bible is the creator of all the universe, and most importantly, you. Unfortunately, we are separated from him due to our rebellion and sin, and therefore sin. So what does that mean? We need to be reconciled with him. How that's done is God knows that only he can do it. So he enters into creation, and to demonstrate his grace, love, and mercy for you, he dies for you on the cross. That's bullet point what the gospel is. Americanism, if I had to say downstream from that, all it is pretty much giving you the liberty to define what is happiness in your life and how you pursue that. That is all. But it's a little more complicated. That's not really all, but yeah.
So would you be interested in doing theocracy debates?
Oh yes, I'm very up for any kind of original sin. Let's say predestination.
We have something for you already. I already know we have something for you.
Perfect.
And we've been looking for you.
I'm glad you found me.
Yes.
Well, you can't reveal the names yet, but I've actually been watching this channel for a while. I'm glad you guys have me on here. I feel like there's a Legends version of the YouTubers on YouTube that we all know, and you guys are coming up new, and I like what you're starting here. It's awesome. So I want to get involved from the get-go.
Oh, I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
So I kind of blacked out in some of your intro because I got really excited about the whole theocracy thing.
Yeah.
So are you political, or is this where do you lie on the political spectrum at all?
Well, okay, on the political spectrum, it's hard, you got it's really unfair because you got one side promoting me to, tell my children that they can tell me as their father what they could do and give them puberty blockers. And I need to put a new chip in my arm that they just came out with. And I have to take a backseat and put your mask on. And I'm like, man, you guys are crazy. I don't think I can do all that. But then I look to my right right? And then I see these guys, they're promoting the ethno state. They're telling me about QAnon. They want me to religiously watch Fox News. And I was like, oh, so you as well are crazy. You as well have lost your mind. And it's kind of weird. And I'll be honest, I lean right. But the problem is right now, you have what is called conservatism, right? And a lot of them would say they're Christian. And, I don't want to push anybody out the house. But theologically, what I see something scary happening is you're putting the Constitution over the Bible, right? When, if you just listen to my description, the Bible comes before the Constitution. And I don't feel like a lot of that is being very well communicated to the audience when you see these right-wing podcasts or YouTubers go online and actually speak. I was watching Slightly Offensive, and they had a panel where they had a trans person on, a libertarian, and then they had two people who were calling themselves Christians the whole time, but they were just,
Was that the Blair White one?
Yes.
That blonde girl? Yeah, I saw that too. Oh, I didn't see the whole thing, but I saw bits and parts of it.
The problem I had with it was, the woman who was Christian was constantly, and, I wish I could talk to her. I hope we maybe get a chance to bring her on this channel. We can talk. I can, try and find some bridge with her. But the problem I had with her was, she was making jokes at the person who is trans. She was constantly just insulting the other person who didn't believe in God, but was just being libertarian. And it turned into a mudslinging fest, and it wasn't productive at all. And the gentleman, I think his name is John Doyle, he was silent. I give it to him at least that he was silent and he didn't, participate in the mudslinging. But I think the reason why he was silent was because he kind of knew, are we supposed to be acting like this? I thought we were Christians. I thought we were supposed to be reflecting Christ here. What's going on? So, yeah, that's why it's hard for me to pick a side here.
I got you.
And if I had to say it this way, there are those who are conservative Christians, and then there's me who's Christian conservative, if that makes it helpful for anyone.
No, it does. It's something I see it quite a bit. I feel like, there is a huge conservative faction that Republican, feel lost because, a lot of the GOP is going to be kind of racist and sexist and this. And so they are, they're kind of politically homeless, and that's because they do have conservative views. But what do you do when you have that kind of conflicting stuff going on?
This crazy rhetoric that you don't want to be because you want to be able to in America, I think Americanism creates an arena where the individual gets to come to the public square and speak their opinion. And while it may be put up to scrutiny, right, meaning you may have contenders who are battling your thoughts, that doesn't mean you get shut down. You're going to be wrong, but you need to also accept that humbly, but nothing else should happen after that.
Right.
So,
all right. So who did you support in the last two elections?
I'd like to word it as, what did I support?
Okay.
I supported Americanism. So I voted Donald Trump. But I'm not a bootlicking, I don't think he's the Omniscience come down from on high and he's the next Jesus. I very much respect what he was doing in office for us, which is just purely creating opportunity for the American people and looking into our interests. But can I, I'm a sinner too, right? I've done bad things in my life. I don't want to say he's a bad person. We're all bad. We're all bad people at some level. We've all been around the block. We've all done things. But can I condone his actions that we know of, like the Twitter drama, or Trump? We've all known Trump for a long time. He's not new here. And to say that, just because I voted for him doesn't mean I'm black. Right? People say that. It's it just turns the whole conversation into something that's just unproductive. So yes, I voted for Trump, but I voted for Americanism and the values that he was bringing into the White House.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. All right. So let's see here. So what would you say your top 3 voting issues are?
It would be freedom of speech, the right to bear arms, and I would say Christian liberty. And if you want to just look at what's happening in Canada, you can just give that contrast right there.
Okay. And if you were to debate somebody, which topics would interest you the most and which topics would interest you the least?
Okay, there is no least. I like to give people the time of day, which is hear what they're saying and kind of give them that pushback, play devil's advocate. I can play that game, but if I had to say my top, it would be biblical Christianity is what the foundation of the Constitution was written on. The right to self-defense, solutions, to the southern border situation, not the drama of the southern border, but actual, hey, let's talk about solutions. What's a solution we can come here with? Americanism versus communism, which is just, I would say that is probably the Antichrist right there.
Okay.
Atheists, regulation, meaning like to start a business or, just regulation in general. I kind of have a contention with that. Cancel culture, if it's real, hate speech, and man, Superman versus Batman, of course. That's always a good one to talk about. Let's go.
Okay, fair enough. All right, so let's see. I'm going to go through some of these. All right, so I feel like the solution to a southern border might be a good panel one to do. Have a few people on different ends and do something like that. Okay, so Americanism versus communism. So Americanism. When you say Americanism, can you explain that a little bit more?
Yeah. So if you have to encompass the Bill of Rights, the Constitution, and the Declaration of Independence. If you go down the line for an easier view of it, freedom of speech, right to bear arms, search and seizures, the right to a fair trial, all these things are what is forming what is called an identity for the American, right? What happened throughout the past was pretty much conflict, right? I'm not saying I'm a philosophy major or anything, and I'm not saying that I am some wise guru, but honestly, I believe through conflict, that is which through the culture of a people and most importantly, their nature is defined, right? You have what happened over in Europe, the genocide of Christians, where they were told to do something that they felt violated in their hearts, their souls. They could not do because it would be going against everything they believed in. They escaped that by coming to America, and they then started establishing things that would allow them to preach the word of God freely. How do we do that? Well, I pretty much believe the word of God is, consistent, true, and the truth. Therefore, I don't need to make it law that everybody be Christian. I can just open up the public square and let the debates take place. And I believe in the veracity of God's word that it will come out victorious, right? So there you have freedom of speech, freedom of religion. I don't want my fellow brothers and sisters or any other religious, system to ever be burned at crosses, hunted after, genocided ever again. So I'm also going to put in there freedom of religion, right? If you look at history and you see where these things are coming from and why they wrote them in the Constitution, Americanism is getting its identity formed, right? There is a certain way about these people. Now, how do I protect that one first thing that I just established? Well, these other guys over here, the Visigoths, the barbarians, and all these other people, they want to kill me, right? All they are interested in are my girls, my gold, and my land. So therefore, in order to protect that, I'm going to have to make guns. I'm going to need a lot of them. Enters the Second Amendment. all the, I could keep going down the list, but I don't want to be overdrawn. But if you look at those 3 documents and you look at the character of the founding fathers, who people would contend are not Christian because they are deists, I would say, chill out. Let's actually read what they say. Like if you go into Washington and you look at Thomas Jefferson's memorial and you see that it reads, God who gave us life also gave us liberty. A nation cannot only won't be able to secure that conviction without first noticing the God who gave it to them. You see, when you have that kind of language in someone's journal, now posted on the walls of your institutions, that is your federal government, it's kind of hard to resist to say these guys are not Christian. So the American identity, while it is complex, it is a real thing, and it is found in those 3 documents: the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, and the Bill of Rights.
Okay. All right. And so as far as cancel culture, what exactly is your stance on that?
I think it's a heinous thing, right? No one should be able to, or let's put it this way, no one should be subjected to having their whole life shut down because of something they said, right? Because what? If we're going to have to be able to think, hypothesize, and find truth here, we're going to have to be willing to be offended. I don't think it's fair when you see people like Gina Carano or the people who ran the app Parler, they're put on a list where what is happening? We're going to make sure they can't find a job anymore. If we can, I don't know if you remember what was happening with Patreon, we can get rid of the way they secure their money. People, this is people we don't like talking. We're going to attack them on all fronts to the point where they are put into submission and honestly, sometimes I think radicalized into doing some crazy things.
Okay. All right. And I'll let Todd touch on the hate speech when he gets to his questions, because I think that's part of his. So I'll let him do that one. All right. So let's see here. Where do you get your news from?
I like to do it from raw sources. And what that means is I like to see pictures. Everybody has a camera on their phone. You see videos going on and you get, if that can be correlated with, survivor or victim testimony, then I have the story myself. I don't need you, CNN. I don't need you, Fox News. So I would look to sources like LiveLeak. I'm on LiveLeak all the time, just looking at what's coming, what's happening. I know people don't like them, but I think Project Veritas, the way they do raw footage of them, they're just letting the cameras run and they're pulling out of these, they're pulling, the words out of these people's mouths and they're saying it for themselves. So when people say a source like Project Veritas is faulty, I ask you, okay, so was this all, are you saying this is all staged? This was all faked? I don't understand. I know it's weird, but I go on Tumblr a lot. I see, it's crazy how I found out about what was happening with the Uyghur Muslims was on Tumblr, where all of a sudden these pictures were popping up of, people in jumpsuits with numbers on their back and they're on their knees and they have, SWATs of them and they're being walked through by guards. And I'm like, yo, what's this? And then there are some interviews on YouTube. So YouTube's a good source too, because sometimes they're honest, but you see these Muslims coming on and giving testimony that correlates with some other shocking videos that, they call them re-education camps, which in itself is, heinous already. But you hear them talking about harvesting organs and selling them on the red market and raping women and all this. And I'm like, oh, wow, that's crazy. You don't hear this on Fox or CNN. I think we all need to be diligent because information is so free and accessible to go out and just look at these things ourselves and just ask, is this right? Or what am I looking at? So yeah.
Okay, I want to touch on a couple social issues. And you can let me know if you don't want to answer some of these.
Mhm.
But all right, so do you believe that homosexuality is a choice?
Yes, it is a choice.
Is that something you would be interested in debating, or you'd rather
Uh,
not?
yeah, I can debate that.
Okay. All right. Let's see here. What else we got? Do you believe there is such thing as white privilege?
No,
No.
I
Is that
think.
something you'd be interested in debating?
Yeah, I can debate that too.
Like, are social issues anything that you would be interested in, or should we stick to the ones that you kind of
No,
gave?
I definitely want to go into social issues because it really is all downstream from one thing to another, right? I'm talking about the Bible. The Bible will mold the culture and the nature of a people, and then that will lead itself into law, and then that will be practiced in in the governing system. So I think all of this is very important.
Okay. All right. And I'm going to do a quick lightning round, then I'll hand it to Todd. Okay. So, healthcare, privilege or right?
Privilege.
Climate change, man-made or hoax?
Oh, man, that's a mixed answer because that's a fast
It's
hard like
good.
it's real, but to the degree that people say it is, no.
Okay. Electoral college, keep or abolish?
Keep.
Defund the police, support or oppose?
Oppose.
$15 minimum wage, support or oppose?
Oppose.
Tax the rich more or less?
I don't even want to get taxed, so let's
Okay.
less.
Okay.
Flat tax rate. How about everybody get a flat tax rate?
Fair enough. Legalize all drugs, support or oppose?
Out of your mind. Yeah. Oppose.
Are you somebody who is against legalizing marijuana?
Well, I know this is a lightning round, but I've used CBD on my shoulder because I've had an injury before and it helped.
Mhm.
So, and I didn't need to get a prescription for that. I just went to the local shop and I said, "Hey, do you have anything that can help me with this?" And they had something. So, I think marijuana is a whole different animal. Not like it's hard. We're grouping marijuana with crack cocaine.
Right.
I
Yeah.
see a whole world thing. What I'm talking about.
So marijuana, you'd be okay with legalizing then?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
It's hard because people take it to the next level, man. Everything in moderation.
All right. So legalize prostitution, support or oppose?
Oppose.
Okay. Have
you seen that Ice Cube interview? The one that there's an Ice Cube interview where I know this is lightning round, but it's funny. The lady is asked, "Why do you call women these bad words?" Right? And he answers, "Well, if you throw a rock into a pack of dogs, the only one that hollers is the one that got hit." Right? And the answer, well, that it's a real wisdom he spits here. All he's saying is, if if he says something that offends you, maybe you need to check yourself before you wreck yourself. Maybe it's you who needs to change. Why are you so concerned about this?
Okay. All right. Yeah. So last one is term limits, support or oppose?
Support.
All right. Todd, you want to hop on in?
I got it from here. Number one, and these are just 5 questions. They're near and dear to me as a Christian conservative as well. So, number one, do you support nationalism or globalism?
Welcome to the party, Todd.
Hey, we are outnumbered and outgunned. We're not outgunned, but we are outnumbered severely. So, nice to have you along.
Well, that's a good thing, Todd, because when they surround us, there's this. I forget his name in the military. He was a general, but he was surrounded by the enemy, and one of his lieutenants said, "Sir, we're surrounded." All he says is, "Good, everybody shoot!" And then, because you're surrounded, so boom. But nationalism, I would say nationalism, and once again, in the context of history, right? moderation, right? I don't want to hear about like, we're now Hitler and we're now Nazi Germany, right? I think obviously they were on a different juice entirely, but nationalism can be healthy at a certain level. To a degree, I can't see how it can be harmful.
Well, just like the kids are no longer in cages, the troops that are on the streets, it's no longer fascism. I don't know if you didn't get the memo, but it's not fascism now because it's Biden. But anyway, but it was fascism last year. Funny how that works.
Todd, I have to say, dude, you have to admit, though, it's not Biden. That dude is a puppet. No. That old man is being controlled. They're abusing him.
I agree.
So people say it's Biden. I point at Harris, if anybody, and I point at the people around him. They need to leave that old man alone. Let him go to sleep.
He will be. I don't think he's going to make the 4 years, but I think we need to start a pool. We'll start a pool. Hang around when you're done. We'll get the pool running.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm for nationalism too, and I get called all kinds of naughty names. I just say thank you, Hitler. Thank you for ruining nationalism for all of us people. But of course, that type of nationalism was bad. So yeah, right. Moderation is key. So number 2 has to deal with hate speech. So is hate speech protected speech, and what is your opinion on that? What is your opinion on the First Amendment?
First Amendment should be upheld indefinitely. I know I'm answering it a little backwards. You need, once again, I said it already, you need to be able to come into the arena where debate or conversation is going to take place, and someone's going to say something you don't like. Someone's not going to be on board with what you agree with. How do you respond to that? You just self-reflect. You figure out if the argument you hold has the worth behind it by doing the hard research, or if you come to the ends, you abandon that position. Hate speech. Do people say things that hurt other people's feelings? Yes, it happens. I'm sorry, but you're in the place where that is something that is protected.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Number 3 is gun control laws. Do you favor them? What is your position on the Second Amendment?
So people say the Second Amendment is for the government. It's for making sure the government isn't able to run roughshod over you. I would agree, but I would take it a little deeper. If you understand what the concept of violence is, I think you would understand that the deeper reasoning behind it is we need to make sure that the individual who is physically incapable or physically inferior to their attacker is able to adequately defend themselves at a moment's notice. That's the real meaning behind it. I personally, if I had to say the one word around it that no one mentions, is vulnerability. I hate it. I don't want a woman to be, subject to her attacker, male or female, and have to just, accept whatever harm he wants to bring on her. I think, honestly, there's good and bad to it. If that happens, there's a lot of crazy people out there who are just going to be pulling triggers. Unfortunately, that happens. But I think you would drastically see the number of rapes or abuse just plummet and go down, because an armed society is a polite society, in my firm opinion.
All right. Number 4, are you pro-life or pro-choice, and when does life begin?
Pro-life, and I think the moment, whatever you want to have it, where, man, we're all adults here. The moment the climax happens and something hits an egg, it's over, sir. It's over. You just started a life. You were at the beginning stages. A person is about to come into being, or a person has come into being and is about to enter the world now.
All right. And number 5 is, what is your take on the border? Are you pro-amnesty? Are you pro-open borders? What is your take? Are they still cages? What's your take on the immigration situation that's going on now?
This is like a hard one because, I've seen testimonies of these people. I've seen the pictures of what the cartel does. I very much understand the gravity of the situation and I don't fully understand it. That's, I've never been hunted like that, but I am kind of sensing what these people are running from and what's happening on the other side over there. In terms of amnesty, yes, but does that mean you just get to come into the country and start abusing all the resources that everyone here already has been paying into? I think no. I think that's an abuse of the people already living there. But do I abandon you? No, I don't see that either. If I had to say a solution, and it's already actually been tried, I don't know if you guys have, looked into this before, but I would just wage war on the cartel. I would see them as the wolf that they are, and I would, come in, not run in, but come alongside the Mexican government, and I would say, hey, there are people in your government that are corrupt and aiding these people in pretty much raping your people. That's what they're doing. I, the warrior, Americans, have the ability to combat the wolf at your door and purge you of this enemy. I'm not saying this is going to be clean. It's going to get super bloody. Why? Because we have a cancer here that has pretty much propagated into every facet of their society. But we need to do what's necessary to get rid of this whole threat, because I've been to Mexico before. It is a beautiful place. And the people there are lovely people. They are nice people. I didn't understand a lot of them, even though my name's Pedro. I don't speak Spanish. I didn't understand most of them. But for the most part, I was treated with kindness, and I felt like, man, this is an awesome place. Why is everybody leaving? And then you hear the stories. So I think we've been attacking it, in a whole bad angle. We're not supposed to be rejecting people who are legitimately running from, it's not poverty. People say it's poverty. No, they're running from wolves. We need to deal with the wolf, I think.
All right. Well, yeah, I thank you very much. I look forward to working with you and having you on. I thank you for your time. I'm going to pass it back to Brittany, and we'll conclude this. Thank you again.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. One follow-up, is the pro-life debate, is that something you'd be interested in, or?
Oh, yes.
Okay, I'll add that to it. All right, yeah, no, so I really, really enjoyed this, and I have a feeling we will definitely be having you on quite a bit. Right. But yeah, if there's anything that we didn't touch on that you wanted to address, the floor is yours.
I would just ask, not to say I can come on your channel and run things, right? But when I watch your debates, right, a lot of the times I feel like there's only recommendations, but I watch other debates and I see a structure where it's opening statements, right? Then formal rebuttals where they speak on what the other person's position they established. And then even better, they have a cross-examination period where it goes 6 to 10 minutes of that side, just questioning this side. And that's where I would just have to answer. And then 6 to 10 minutes of me questioning that side, and they have to answer.
That's good. Yeah, thank you. We've I guess people have suggested that a bit. And I think we probably are going to kind of maybe work on some of those like little, the way we moderate it a bit.
Yeah, it's not you. It's more than likely, and I'm not trying to be biased, but a lot of people, who are left leaning come on here and they take me down these tunnels, these rabbit holes that I'm like, what does this have to do with the where am I?
Yeah.
Can we come back to the issue? And I just feel like that structure would just, it would force the other side to answer the question or maybe fall silent, but they can retreat to ad hominem. I think it's funny when people do ad hom. I'm not saying I want ad hom. You know, if somebody wants to, you know, start a scene and we're just throwing jokes back and forth, all right, down, let's beam. Let's just beam. But yeah, that's just my recommendation if you want to get some kind of substance out of this.
No, I appreciate it. Thank
and we
you
can
so much.
set up if you want to do something with somebody, and we can set it up and have parameters right before the person definition. So yeah, we can do that. So, but like I said, thank you for coming on, and yeah, we'll definitely duly note it because yeah, sometimes they do run into I like to let them go though. I just like to let just blood sport for me. You know what I mean?
Exactly. We all like the part where it
some
gets
of them, yeah, some of the people that because we have suggested that some of the people that do debate on it, they don't want us to get involved much. So we're like kind of sitting there. I mean, because some people watching, they do want us to get involved. So we're kind of stuck in a little bit of a limbo there with some. But for people that would both be wanting that, then yeah, we will happily have that more structured up. But yeah, so stick around after we do this exit video. But if there's anything else that you wanted to address or anything before we shut it down.
Yeah, if some people in the past have messaged me privately about it, this skull right here is from my favorite character in comics.
I can't see a skull. I don't see it. Oh no.
Oh, that's perfect. Okay, cool. It's okay that you can't see it. Here, I'll show it right here. It's on my lunchbox.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, now I see it.
Yeah. It's a memento. Yeah, it's the memento mori, which people don't know. It's from actually the Roman soldiers when the legionnaires would have the skulls on their armor. It's to signal. It's also to be. It's supposed to be intimidating, but another meaning behind it was you're gonna die one day.
Yeah.
Right. How do you want to be remembered? What is the character? What is the character of the person wearing this armor going to be that everybody remembers when they lay you down? That's just the fun stuff about it. But yeah.
All right. Cool. All right. Well, yeah. Thank you again for coming on. I really, really enjoyed this. And yeah, if anybody is interested in debating Pedro, and I think a lot of people will be, you can either comment on this video or you can email us at politicallyprovoked so we can set that up. Yeah. Thank you again. And we will shut this down. Good night.